What is going on, guys? It is time for another Friday Night Live. What is up? What is up? Oh, Applin's Heart, you're freaking nuts. I've been reading your comments, just laughing. Oh, man. So, how's everybody doing? It's good to see everybody jumping on here. Man, oh, man, it has been a fun week. I've been filming with Chad, his TV show all week, showing him how to catch big bass. Caught one 8 pounds, 2 ounces yesterday on filming his TV show. Should be a good show. Don't know when it's going to air. Don't ask me. I have no clue. But yeah, man, I'm doing pretty good. I went out today and in between rain showers, got a video done. It's the video about April baits, and then tomorrow I'm heading back out to film some more and try to get as many of those videos edited and loaded, because Wednesday we're going on spring break, taking my kids out of town for a few days, and then come back home and start grinding again. So it ought to be fun. So how's everybody doing? Oh, man. Says Josh has met you at the Classic, was hoping to stop and talk to you, but still recovering from some health issues. Hope you enjoy the decals I dropped off. That was you? That's awesome, man. They're sitting in my cup holder in my truck. One of them's going to go on my tailgate. I don't know what I'm going to do with the other one. So, yeah, dude, that was pretty awesome. Thanks for dropping them off. So they're awesome. I love it. Oh, Jack Roberts going on. John Pulliam, what's going on, brother? Nope, I don't check my Facebook messages very often, man. Oh, goodness. Caden Dickey, that's a good question. We'll get to it in just a few minutes. He says, what are your thoughts on the slobber knocker? Talked about that today in my video, as a matter of fact. But yeah, what's going on outdoors, man? Well, there's a new logo, Bergmeister 34. What's up, man? Never seen that thumbnail before. That's pretty cool. Or that avatar, whatever they call them these days. But Zach Ferguson, Walton Doyle, what's going on, my friend? Zach Ferguson, how you doing, man? He says, I'm fishing my first KBF monthly challenge tomorrow. How do I see the identifier code? So go to the I don't have my phone on me, or what do you do? Hold on a second. Watch the video I shot 2 weeks ago. No, I'm just kidding. Let me pull it up for you. Go to Fishing Chaos. Go to your dashboard, find the tournament that you're fishing. I'm going to go to the April challenge that I'm fishing. Oh, he has not launched it yet. All right. So that's up to Chad. But so you'll go to this page right here, and this is what you'll be seeing right now. But up here up top, there'll be a yellow bar. When that yellow bar pops up, that's your identifier. You really don't need it till midnight tonight anyway. But yeah, you click on the yellow bar when it pops up there, and your identifier will be right there. So, matter of fact, I'll text Chad right now while we're talking. What's up, Chris Curtis? What's going on, brother? Chris McFarland, what's up? What's up? Wicked Fishing, how you doing, man? I'm gonna text Chad and tell him challenge identifier, please. Let me find it. Oh. Oh, I spelt it wrong. No wonder. There, that should pop up in a little bit now. Oh, goodness. Connor, what's up? As a new member, thank you for joining. If you guys haven't noticed, down on the bottom left-hand corner, if you ever wanted to donate or do anything else for me, stuff like that, on YouTube, it says join, and it's a monthly subscription, and you get some perks and stuff. So I just started it, so don't hold my feet to the fire yet. I'm still trying to get used to it, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And I may end up starting to run my lives out of YouTube instead of on StreamYard, but I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what's the best especially for the membership stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of really cool things going on with the memberships. Thanks, Connor. I appreciate it. Scott Perkapal. I hope I don't butcher these names. I hate butchering names. Goodness. First live show. That's awesome, man. All right, so my friend Jessica Eaton's on. Awesome, awesome. Okay, a couple of things I want to go over. Don't forget about the Knucklehead tournament. The first month is ending tonight. I think Jason Starley's in the lead for mine. If he ends up winning, he will be the first member of Team Fluke Master. And in October, the championship is in Northern Alabama. All the entry fees are going to go towards getting the 4 members of my team down there, and then prizes and stuff like that, depending on how much money we can raise through entry fees. We got some kayaks to give away and a bunch of other things. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the whole thing, but yeah, dude, Jason Starley will probably be the first winner, and then next month you just don't know. So 3 more months to go. Anywhere, bank or kayak, catch, photo, release through Fishing Chaos, and you just go into Fishing Chaos and you sign up. Membership, I think you need to be a member of KBF, but I can't remember. It's all in the rules and stuff. So awesome. Fishing with Fish Gull, what's going on, man? It's been a long time. Glad you're back on the grind. I won't be back to it. I won back-to-back AOY for the Philly Bass Busters, mostly because of your videos. That's awesome, man. Wow, congratulations. Now I have a YouTube channel, 300 subs. Thank you. Y'all go over and give him some subs. Fishing with Fish Gull. Unless he's only got 3 videos. If you only got 3 videos, come back. Wait till no, I'm just kidding. Oh, goodness. Outdoors Man says, I'd like to see you break down a new lake in the spring you've never been on. Dude, that's a lot of fun. It really is. It's one of my favorite things to do is go to a lake I've never been to and then break it down. Usually takes me about 2 or 3 days. See. Man, a lot of newcomers. Mr. Fantastic, welcome. Man, that's awesome. So I went to the Bassmasters Classic Expo this last week. It was really, really cool. Got to see a lot of old friends, got to catch up with a bunch of people that I hadn't seen in a while. I picked up some of the Yamamoto Yama Tanuki baits, and I've already caught a bunch of fish on it. Hold on, Chad just texted me back, said try it now. So we're going to try it now and see. All right, it's up. See, just like that. You click on this thing right here, and it'll give you the identifier for this month's challenge, for the KBF month's challenge. So hold on, I got to respond to him and say, yep, got it. Or he will text me back. That's how you get things done. Oh, man. Let's see. Luke Ingram, we don't even have open water yet. I'm still working with 2 feet of ice. Holy cow, man. That sucks. There are some other YouTubers that are from up north that are going to be running theirs a month or 2 late, that kind of stuff. So what the Knucklehead Challenge is Team Fluke Master will be the 4 winners of my 4 1-month tournaments against the winners of Chad Hoover's and Gramps and a couple other guys. I never can remember unless I pull them up. And then we're trying to get Alex Rudd to jump on board, but I don't know if he's going to or not. At least maybe not this year. But dude, the goal is to grow this to be just a really cool, fun event. Just have a good, fun party down in Birmingham, Alabama with a hold on, he texted me again and lost my. But with a tournament on the side, basically a championship tournament on the side. Anyway, he's giving me excuses. Fishing with Aaron says, what's my PB? My PB is 10 pounds, 12 ounces. It's time to break that sucker. It definitely is. Who just donated $20? Calvin Johnson. What's going on, man? Thanks for the $20, bro. Here's a little to help out with the Knucklehead prizes. Awesome. Freaking cool. Let me find my stuff again. Scott Perkapal says, I just bought his first kayak. Any advice for a new kayak fisherman? Learn how to get back in that sucker when you fall out. So as the water gets warm and safe, what I want you to do is I want you to leave everything out of your kayak but your paddle and have your PFD on, and jump in the water and learn how to get back up. I've got a video about open water reentry. It will save your life one day. It really will. I can think of 3 stories this winter off the top of my head where guys were able to get themselves back in their kayak and get to the bank and get warm, or get wherever they needed to and get warm and save their life. So be sure you learn that. Other than that, take your time, have fun with it. Don't take a whole lot of tackle to start with, and enjoy enjoy the ride, man. It's a lot of fun. Who's from Covington? Holy cow. Joshua Johnson. Checking in from Covington. You got to head back to El Charro soon so I can stop by and say hi again. Dude, that was a couple of years ago. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to be down there in a few weeks. I got to go down and clean out my mom's basement. She's getting ready to, well, she's getting a new house built next to my sister, so she can be taken care of. My mom's almost 90 years old. So let's see. Did you fish Lake Gunnersville last weekend? Not last weekend, but I fished it yesterday and the day before and the day before that. And did pretty good. Caught an 8-pound, 2-ounce fish the end of the day yesterday. And then the day before, I caught one, I think 5 and some change, 5 1/4. So wind started blowing yesterday afternoon, and I grabbed a 1/2-ounce chatterbait and threw it up into about 2.5 feet of water and was just burning it as fast as I could reel it back in. Caught 2 decent ones and then that giant. So it was pretty awesome. Usuma Khan, what's going on, man? He says, first time joining live. Been watching the videos for years now. Great content. Really appreciate the work you put into the instructional videos. Appreciate it, man. I'm going to do a whole bunch tomorrow. My hope is to get 4 done tomorrow. If I get 3, I'll be happy. I'm going to sit down most of the night tonight and edit. So let's see. Chad also says he's going to start have the putting up that identifier for the challenge series later than he normally does. That way people don't go out and catch one the night before and cheat. So let's see. David Myers looking at building a new rig. I want an 1103 and foot steering, which 1103 is a Torqeedo motor. I've got one on the back of my kayak. I ran it today. I was thinking of PA14. Anything else I should consider for the kayak, non-sponsored? Let me think. For the PA14, I've heard rumor the PA14 or the PA12 has been, the hull's been cracking and there's been leaks, but I don't know what the whole detail of that is. I really don't, but that's something I've heard over the last few weeks, is that a lot of people have been getting unexplained water in their kayaks. But you might just check Facebook and check before you put that, before you totally take my word for it. But let me think. Get a decent paddle. PA14, you're only going to need a paddle if something catastrophic happens. But that's all I can think, David. It really is. Andy Leonard, what's going on, man? Thank you for jumping in. Let's see. Did you clog dance with Zeb Ross at the Classic? No, but I sat there and watched him and his group for about 15 minutes. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Man, if I'd have started clogging, I'd have passed out in about 5 minutes. I'm so out of shape. So how are you rigging the new Yamamoto? Talking about the hold on, I didn't click on it. The Yama Tanuki. It's weightless. 4/0 extra wide gap hook, weightless. Just rig it Texas style. It's a big chunk of plastic, but that's the only way I know. That's what they tell you to rig it. I'm going to make a video as soon as I get a little bit more seat time on or time behind that bait. I'm going to do a video about it. So I really like it. It works great in beds, I'll tell you that. So I'm flipping around cover and bushes and stuff like that. So Black Bass Angler, what's up, girl? A friend gave me his old bass boat. It needs work on the transom. Have you ever done restoration on a boat? I have. But what I used to do is I used to build electric boats. I had a couple of buddies that were UPS drivers, and they would look in people's yards as they were delivering, and they'd see these old trackers that had trees and bushes growing out of them that, maybe it's a lady whose husband died several years before or whatever. But I would go and offer to buy the boat from them, take it away, gut it out, rebuild it, make it 100% electric, and sell it in Atlanta. I never did a whole lot of transom work. Most transoms back then were wood. I would just check it to make sure it wasn't rotten. And luckily I never got one that was rotten. The good thing is the boat I was building was never going to have a big motor on it. So it really didn't matter whether it was a really bad transom or not. So other than that, long story short, nope, don't know a whole lot about restoring transoms. That's for sure. Apple's Heart, there's a tournament tomorrow, Clarksdale. What should I be fishing after they finish? I'm not fishing the tournament. Still close to Cary Creek though. Cary Creek, probably Keg Creek is probably what you meant to type. I don't know, man. I'm not sure what they're doing. That storm that's going to move through tomorrow is going to be, it might change things a little bit, might make them suspend. Still, I'd be in the back of Keg Creek somewhere, moving baits. So, all right, I'm gonna skip a bunch of questions just because I'm so freaking far behind. I'm gonna try to catch a few though. Drew Thaler from Facebook says, first year kayak fishing and picked up an RS 117. My question is, what techniques do you find more difficult to fish from a kayak as opposed to a boat or even a bank? The most difficult one to learn has been like a jerk bait or sitting down fishing a jerk bait or fishing a fluke, something where you've got to pop your rod to the side a little bit. But I've learned it just takes a whole lot of practice, and there's certain anglers or certain angles that you can't do it. Another difficult thing is to understand is you got to find out where your strong side is and where your weak side is. Or so for me, because I hold the rod in my left hand, my weak hook sets are always directly to my right with my shoulders square this way. So I always try to turn my shoulders and get them as square as I can to a cast over to the right. That way, if I've got to set the hook, I've got a little bit of power. But if I try to set the hook on like a Texas rig or a jig or something like that with the bait over here on my side, I will miss that. I'll lose that fish every time because I just don't have a strong enough hook set right there. So just pay attention to your hook set angles. Emily Grace, what's going on, girl? It sure was good to see you at the Classic. Awesome. Let's see. Michael Donnarumma checking in from Oklahoma. Hope to meet you at the Classic in Tulsa next year. I should be there. Definitely. I remember the Tulsa Classic. It was really, really good. So was it in Tulsa or was it Oklahoma City? I think it was Oklahoma City. I'd never been to Tulsa. That's awesome. Lowell Henderson, what's going on? Aiden Cameron, right outside of Athens, Georgia here. Do you know of any good spots? Bear Creek is a really good one. Any of those county reservoirs that are electric only are typically pretty good. I know Bear Creek has become kind of an offshore lake. I fished it couple of 2-3 years ago. Jordan had a high school kayak tournament there, but yeah, dude, that's a really good one. And then if you can get down to what's the name of that other reservoir, the new one, Hard Labor Creek, the new reservoir in Social Circle, that one's going to be a really good one through the years. That's one to get down and spend a lot of time on getting to know. Travis Mann, I had a good day on Dale Hollow Lake last Saturday. 24.64 is what I had. Holy crap, dude. That's a heck of a limit. Wow. Emily Grace, go Dogs. Scott Perkapile, you said you have something going on in Birmingham. I live in Birmingham area. What do you have going on there? Not a whole lot. Well, it's in Huntsville. I basically where I fish out of when I stay with Chad is in Huntsville. I stay in his RV, and I do a lot of work in and around Huntsville, around the northern Alabama area, kind of promoting the northern Alabama area. Doing it for free right now, hoping to get on their payroll late further down the road. But anyway, so it ought to be pretty cool. I love it up there. It's some of my favorite lakes are all up along the Tennessee River in northern Alabama. So let's see. Outdoors, man. I need to get a motor paddling. I need to get a motor. Paddling is rough if you expect to really cover any water. That's true. It's so true. It's pretty neat that you can get a motor on a bunch of different kayaks these days. I know a lot of the purists are like, yeah, whatever. You got to get a motor. Motors a cop out or whatever else. It's not pure kayak fishing. You're right. It's not. You turn your kayak into a boat, but isn't that the whole goal? You're starting the bank, and then you get off, and a kayak is a way to get off of the bank, and then you want to get a little bit better. Get a better kayak and a better kayak, and always upping your chances or your ability to move around and to catch more fish and things like that. And it's neat that we're able to do that now. Back when I was getting off the bank, it was a belly boat. It wasn't even a kayak. All my only option was a belly boat. I'd blow it up on the bank and throw it out on the water and jump in it and start fishing and hope nothing chewed on my toes. But now there's so many cool options and the sky's the limit. Well, maybe my kayak's the limit, but anyway, the sky's the limit. Mine is pretty ridiculous, and I'll be the first to tell you that. But yeah, dude. And I love the XI3 up front. The difference between the Torqeedo in the back and the XI3 is a Torqeedo is a get there motor, and the XI3, the bow mounted motor is a fishing motor. And so I love having both of them on my boat, although it probably almost sinks. But anyway, what's the rule for air temperature and water temperature? Somebody please remind me. I cannot remember what it's called, what it is. Chad would know it off the top of his freaking head, but I don't. I mentioned it in a video a few years ago about wintertime kayak fishing and that kind of stuff, but I just can't remember. I'm not good with numbers anyway. So, Will Junkin says Alex Rudd had a PA-14 crack on him. Got it covered under warranty. That's right. That may be why he's with Jackson now. He just got a NAR a couple of weeks ago. I don't know. I didn't talk to him about that when I saw him at the Classic. So, Fishing Girl, what's up? Fishing Girl 94. Awesome. Willie Galloway, another first timer watching live chat. I have one question. Have you ever fished in Texas? If so, where at? I have fished all over Texas. Gosh almighty. Fork, Lake Athens, a couple of the other lakes around Lake Athens, Belton, and a bunch of other ones. I've done a lot of fishing in Texas. So, let's see. Old Gramps, JT Hickman, what's up, man? So, shows are over. Time to get back on the wagon and get these pounds off. That's true, man. That's true. I am back on my diet. For the most part, I fudged a little bit with my wife because I haven't seen her in a while. We sat down and ate a little dessert tonight, but yeah, definitely. I feel a whole lot better now than I did last week. Eating all that junk while I was traveling is just, oh goodness. Let's see. Here's one. Academy released their line of fishing gear. Have you had a chance to check any of their baits out? As a newbie, I love to hear your opinion on them. I'll go look at them. I don't have an Academy real close to me. And then at the Classic, that place was a zoo. So I didn't really ever go into the Academy booth. So, all right, let's see. Dominic Martin Fishing. How's it going, Fluke Master? Can I get some advice on fishing a reservoir that is around 48 degrees with fish suspending off flats in and around 13, 18 foot and lots of docks all around? Dude, you need to grab a jerk bait. 48 degrees to 55 to actually to almost 60 degrees. I'm going to throw a jerk bait. You need to what you ought to do is get a deep diver, one that goes about 10 feet deep. You want to force these fish to come up and feed up. They can see better up than they can down anyway. But if they're suspended out off of flats, just grab a jerk bait and work it real slow around areas. Don't rip it. 48 degrees, there's no fish that's ripping really hard. Just to tap, tap, pause, tap, tap, pause, eat a sandwich, tap, tap, pause, drink your coffee. Just take your time and you'll do just fine. That and drag a jig on when they're down on the bottom on those hard breaks. drag a football jig off of the bottom. So, and if it's there 13 to 18 feet, it tells me the water's pretty clear. So use natural colored jigs, brown, blacks, and green pumpkins. So, let's see. Have my first tournament of the year in the morning. Last time I fished this lake, I knocked the winning fish off my buddy's line with a net. Oh no, dude. I've done it. I've done it. You got to let him bring it in the net. Don't bring the net to the fish. Bring the fish to the net. Oh, man. Oh. Been there, done that. Let's see. I'm 10 minutes behind on comments. Goodness gracious. Outdoorsman, the wind is a real bear to contend with in a paddle kayak. Spring 15 to 20 miles an hour in open water will kick you around. Sure will. That's why a motor is really good. Jessica, what's going to be the best time of the year to come fish Guntersville on your kayak guide trip? Guntersville is on my bucket list. Dang it, Jessica, we may have to make you my first client. Now through end of next month, and I'm almost ready. I've just got to. I got to get a guiding kayak rigged up, and I don't have all the stuff yet. So that's what I'm working on right now. But now through the end of till June, July, and it's even good when it's in the summertime too. It's just you just have to move a whole lot more, and then October and November. So, but I love catching. I can catch fish on Guntersville any time of the year. That grass really does make a difference. Makes it to where they bite pretty much all year. So, Andrew Watson, do you run both 1103 and XI3 or just one on the other? When I'm not fishing a KBF tournament, I run both. The 1103 and the XI3, and I did that today. And I don't run them at top speed though. That's not safe. It's not, it doesn't really help much because the front motor steals all the water from the back motor, and you're burning batteries, not getting a whole lot of, they're not very efficient. So, but yeah, dude, it's a lot of fun. I run it probably 5.5 miles an hour everywhere. Also, any tips on the XI3 pinpoint and stealth? Sometimes it goes crazy and spooks the spot, or maybe maybe it's just the spot. Typically, like if you're under a lot of trees or under a bridge and stuff like that, that's when your spot lock or your pinpoint will lose its signal because it's getting it from satellites. So that's almost to be expected. But yeah, I've never had it really go crazy on me unless my remote control battery was dead or dying. So sweet, somebody answered the question. So the degrees, if the degrees in the water and the degrees on the air, if you add them up and they equal 120, if they're below that, it's dangerous. If it's above that, it's safe. So I think that's right. James Summers, welcome, man. Let's see. All right. So I want to go back and answer a question that was asked a little while ago while I was doing my intro. The slobber knocker. And I talked a little bit about this in the video that I'm going to edit tonight. But the slobber knocker and the jackhammer. I still fish the jackhammer about 90% of the time, but the slobber knocker really does shine when you're fishing through brush piles and over wood and in lily pads and stick ups and that kind of stuff. Anything that the jackhammer gets hung in, the slobber knocker will come through. But the jackhammer still is a better bait through the grass, and I haven't really tested the slobber knocker on my home lake that has no grass, but that time is coming up. We're only about a week away from me throwing a chatterbait till my arm throws off. So I'll grab and tie a slobber knocker onto another a second rod and use it as well. So let's see. Robert Albrighton got me a bucket today on your advice. Oh, got a bucket mouth. So he got a big fish. Okay. Yum Swim Dinger. Thanks for teaching me to bass fish, Pops. Thanks, Robert. I appreciate it. Never been called Pops before. Oh goodness. Let's see. Jennifer Ellis, what's going on, Jennifer? She says, "Hey Gene, hey Mr. Gene, good to see you. Black on Live. Quick question: is there a chance you could do a video on fluorocarbon? Does lighter line sink faster than heavier line?" Yes, it does, strictly from physics. It's just not as the diameter is different, so it's going to sink a little bit faster. And it also, the lighter the line, the deeper your crankbaits can get, just because of less resistance on the water. So let's see. Do you ever add weights to your frogs? Yes, I actually have a little pack of 1/32 tungsten weights and 1/16 ounce tungsten weights that I'll add to my frogs when I'm fishing mats, because I want that frog to push down on that mat a little bit. I mean, though, I'm talking about those really thick Gunnersville, Chickamauga, Tennessee River mats. You want it to push down a little bit. It will sink if you get it in open water and stop it. It will sink, but I don't want it to push too hard. Usually, I'll add about 1/8 of an ounce worth of weight to it to do that. So, Mark Beats, how was your visit to Decatur? Fishing on Wheeler this week sucked. I was ready to choke myself. It's just really bad conditions for me. Chad caught him, but he was fishing around the spring. I went off exploring, and we were in backwaters, and the fish had not moved up all the way up to those backwaters yet. I'm sure they were all the way out closer to the main lake. We just didn't go out there. So, but don't you feel most people fish too fast? I think most people fish too fast or too slow. In other words, for me, when I want to catch a giant fish, I'm either dragging really, really slow, or if the condition's right, I'm cranking really, really fast. Like last night, it was starting to get dark. We still had about an hour and a half left of daylight, but the wind started blowing out of the south and pushing up against a bank that I knew was a spawning bank, and I knew it was also a traveling bank, and it had eelgrass and milfoil in it, and it was 2 to 4 feet deep. And I knew that if the wind started blowing, it was going to concentrate fish on that on the back part of this little pocket. And so I grabbed a chatterbait, 1/2 ounce chatterbait, so it would stay down while I was reeling it as fast as I could. And literally on the second cast, I caught about a 19-incher. And then on the 5 casts later, I caught an 8-pound, 2-ounce giant, 23.5 to 24-inch, absolute stud of a fish. And I was reeling it super, super fast. But so there's one or the other. And then in the summertime, I'm dragging so slow, you can literally eat half your meal while you're dragging a worm, 4 to 5 minutes a cast. So that's when I catch my giants. And most people are in between. That's why I say they're either too fast or too slow. We've got this average speed that we tend to do a lot. And it doesn't work all the time. It does catch fish, but I usually catch my giants either really, really fast or really, really slow. So, what's your favorite kayak safety light to use for tournament fishing? The new Yak Attack carbon Visicarbon Pro. I had the old one that had like the regular incandescent LED light, and it was not bright at all. But the new LED one, or is it was a non-LED light. The new LED one is super, super bright and lasts a long time. That's the one I like the most, is that one, because it's just super bright. So, Jekyll Productions says, "Great to see you at the Classic. Super pumped you're getting back to videos." Me too, man. Me too. I've just got to get back. I got to get my head back in the game where I'm grinding and I enjoy it. Right now I've gotten away from editing. I've paid somebody to edit for the last 4.5 years. I'm not going to do that anymore. I want to go back and do it myself and fall back in love with that part. So I really enjoyed it. I just haven't done it enough. So, Outdoors Man, he says, Your ability, Fluke Master, to load a kayak and keep it organized amazes me. I'm glad you didn't see the floorboard of my kayak today. Oh my gosh. It was a mess. I was stepping all over stuff. Oh. Andrew Watson, is power lines from Stevens Creek Dam? Oh, must be talking about its power lines. Let's see. Casual Bass Guy, what platform do you fish from the most? Your yak or your boat? My kayak. For a couple of reasons. I really, really enjoy it. I've got my kayak dialed in the way I like it. It's got all the bells and whistles that I want. I can customize it real quick, pull a fish finder out if I don't need two fish finders, I pull one off. If I don't need the live scope, I pull it off. I can put it on. I can do all kinds of stuff really quick with that kayak. I've worked really hard to get it to where I can adjust for conditions and things like that. And also business wise, the kayak world is growing. Those companies are more willing to help me feed my family and keep my wife happy and that kind of stuff. And so kayaking is where it's at. Really, it is. And the boat world is still behind understanding what value influencers are, things like that. So, it's just the way it is. But I enjoy it. I really do. I love fishing out of a kayak. My Bonafide is just a lot of fun to fish out of. So, Applin's Heart wants another Fluke Master hat. That's awesome, man. I appreciate you, man. Let's see. I've never seen an anchor or power pole used in a tournament video. Why? I use it down in Florida. I use a power pole all the time down in Florida. I used one today sight fishing. But I typically don't when I'm open water, when I'm doing that kind of stuff, there's really no need to have the power pole. And then I don't use an anchor because I've got the pinpoint or the GPS spot lock on my Motor Guide XI3. So I just hit a button and it anchors me in off, deeper than a foot and a half. So I just really haven't had much of a need. Now, when I go pick up my new RVR 119, the riverboat from Yak Attack, it's going to have an anchor on it because in rivers, I use an anchor all the time. So I can't wait to get that thing. I paddled it up in Indiana in a test tank, and it was awesome. So what's your thoughts on the KVD popping perch? It is ugly, but it catches the crap out of fish. It really is. It's one of those baits where it wasn't made to catch fishermen. It was made to catch fish. So is braided fluorocarbon really worth it? For spinning rods, yes. For everything else, it's just going to be personal preference. I used to do it, and I went right back to straight fluorocarbon on my bait casters, unless I really need braid, unless it's a technique that I need braid. So, yeah. And, I typically will use like Seaguar, a Braze X if I'm in really rough stuff. I don't change my fluorocarbon out as much as you think I should, or as much as other professionals do, or the tournament guys do. I change mine out about every 3 to 5 months, and I'm on the water all the time. Or when it starts to feel really nasty, if I've gotten a lot of backlashes and stuff like that, I'll do that. But I've never had an issue with it just not changing it out. So, I mean, that's why I fish Seaguar. It's good stuff. How long do you think it takes for a new neighborhood pond in Georgia to naturally get fish into it? Probably about 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years, depending on the species of fish. So, but you can contact DNR, and a lot of times they'll tell you how you can go get fish to stock in it for free, or even for just a little bit of money. But typically they'll stock it for free. At least they used to. So, ever fish any Arizona or have any plans to? I was supposed to fish a tournament there this last year. But the gas prices shot to $5 a gallon, and I'm like, nope, I'm not traveling out there. Oh, Tackle Junkie 81, what's going on, my long lost brother? Man, oh man, his channel is booming right now. I love it, absolutely love it. Old Jimmy, good dude, really good dude. That big belly is what's giving you bad luck, 100%. Hey, 100%. I've got to get back to losing weight. I lost 20 pounds early this year, and got home and got in a funk and started eating what my kids were eating and gained it all back. So am I excited about the KBF tournament? I'm not fishing I'm only fishing one challenge tournament this year. So have any tips for fishing a strip pit lake without electronics? I've never fished a strip pit, so I wouldn't know where to start really. Just looking for points is what I typically do anywhere that I don't have electronics. As I'm fishing primary and secondary points that I can see coming off the bank. So, but I'm not sure, man. All right. That's a good question. J.W. Blunt says, explain how the KBF state challenges work. Do you fish a certain days and times or any days of the week? So the state challenges are a month long. Fish any days of the week, day or night, as long as you're following the rules of the lakes that you're fishing. So, like for instance, my home lake that I fish all my challenges on, it opens at sunrise and closes at sunset. So, I can't sneak on there at night and fish and count those fish or anything else. But yeah, as long as it's within the state boundaries and it's public access water, it can't be private water. And you go out and go catch them, man. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I joined this one this month because of that video I just shot. I don't know if I'm going to fish this month's hard. I may wait until my peak months on my home lake are June, July. So I may end up fishing the challenges for June or July just to qualify for the championship is all I want to do. So let's see. Icon Boat certainly took advantage of Jacob Wheeler. Maybe they're catching on. I don't know what you're talking about taking advantage of Jacob Wheeler, but man, that's the design of that boat is pretty wicked. I really enjoyed it. Connor, my first member, he goes, in Indiana, as you say. Did you get out on the White River or Lake Monroe? Nope, I sure didn't. It was cold, and I had a 2-week. I did the Indy Sports Show. Chad and I did 4 seminars a day, and over a 2-week period, we busted our butt. So not any fishing. We didn't even take a kayak with us. I don't think. I didn't. Chad did. So I've been doing on Rocky Mountain this year. I've only fished it a couple of days. I fished it today, but I went out and just shot a video, and I went out and just fun fished for a couple of I just caught a couple of fish and then came home. So Mike McKinstry, what's up, man? Dude, I can't believe you got a TV show on the Outdoor Channel. That is so freaking awesome, man. Awesome. And I got your text. I just haven't had a chance to text you back. He's an author of a children's book, which I don't know. I may have to talk to you about that. No, I'm just kidding. You know me. I'm just going to rip on you anyway. Let's see. No fishing in North Carolina. What's my chatterbait reel speed? I like a 7 speed. So 7, 5 to 1, 7, 3 to 1, somewhere around that. And if I've got to burn it, I'm still going to use a 7, 3 to 1. I'm not going to go up to an 8 to 1. I don't need to. So, Jennifer Ellis, what kind of diet are you on? I'm actually, I just have to go low carb is what I have to do for several reasons. It levels out my blood sugar. It gives me energy because I'm burning my fat. It helps with a ton of things. It's an anti-inflammatory diet, so all of my pains of all my joints and things like that goes away. It's just a really, really good diet for me. But I don't go low carb and no vegetable. I like to eat my salads, and so I go light salads and stuff like that once or twice a day. So, see, planning any Michigan or Midwest trips this season? Only if you call me, dude. I can always come up to Michigan in the summertime for sure. We can definitely do that. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of plans for traveling. I just want to make as many videos as I can this year. So, TJ is still on here. What's my favorite bait for April? chatterbait, and a chatterbait. And then if they're spawning and I kind of want to play around with some spawning fish, a big lizard. So, oh, using Jacob as an influencer, Caleb. Ah, I get you. I get you, man. Yep. Yeah. But dude, that boat is the Icon boat is really, really neat. From a guy who used to build boats, it's really neat being able to access everything, to replace pumps, to fix things that break, because things break in boats no matter what you do. It's just a really cool, and that live well is sick. You know, it's got a cooling system to cool the water. It's got an extra reservoir that you put G juice in, and it automatically dispenses G juice into your water. I mean, it's just a ton of really cool things. So, oh, it's on the Discovery Channel, not on Outdoor Network. Okay, that's awesome, Mike. That's awesome. I knew it was one of those big channels. I didn't know which one. Let's see. JW, this is a follow-up from the question about the challenge series. Does each state hold a regional tournament to determine who goes to the championship? Nope. That's not, there's no regional tournament. It goes the top 10% of each month qualify for the championship, if I remember correctly. Read the rules, unless I don't think they've changed. How is it determined who goes to regional tournament or a championship? Last question, I promise. Yep. So I think it's the top 10% of finishers in the tournament. So he says, "Hey, I did text you. You probably did, man. I'm telling you. Let's see how many texts I have that I haven't opened. I'm really bad at it. 50. I got 50 texts I haven't opened. So yeah, I need to go catch up. I just get so busy doing videos and doing travel, and when I'm driving, I don't answer my texts, and it's hard to go back. So you know me. Hey Gene, you ever throw a cover scat? I do. I have 7 or 8 bags of them. And that's what I threw. It's really, really similar to the new bait that Yamamoto has, the Yamatanuki. So definitely. Ned Rig or Jig SmackDown Challenge? Jig for sure. Can you upload a podcast again, please? Tim, I need to figure out how to do it again. What was it? Who bought podcast? Hold on a second. I'm gonna make sure I'm telling you the right thing. So Spotify bought Anchor and basically shut it down, and I can't log in because I don't know what my Spotify login is, and I haven't been able to get it. So I've just got to figure that out. So basically, what I was doing with Anchor, I can't do anymore because Spotify bought them out and just said, "Okay, see ya," you know. So no instructions, no anything else. It just is what it is. So I got to figure out how to do that. It's got to be a different way of doing it. So I didn't lose my show, but I just can't get to it. Opinion on Ascend kayaks. They are really popular in the Pacific Northwest. I've never been in one, but my good buddy that I fish with all the time, Damon Henderson, just got rid of his last year. He flipped it twice, lost thousands of dollars worth of gear. And it's just not a really good big water kayak. If you're fishing small ponds, things like that, yeah, it's fine. So he got rid of it and got I think a native Titan 10 is what he got. So let's see. Lowell Henderson, he says, better tell Chad to get out of that trailer tonight. Serious weather coming. You know, those tornadoes, man, they head for those trailer parks too. It's like they detour to a trailer park. It's sad. Oh man. I've done a lot of cleanup after big storms and stuff like that. And man, trailer parks are always a disaster. It's unreal. If my Appling's Heart says, if my truck and my money was right, I would have been down there and to get the autograph and meet you. One of your biggest fans. God bless. Be safe, dude. I know you are, man. I need to get to Augusta and go fishing with you, but I just don't know when I want to do it. So, all right. Says you can log on to Spotify with your face. I know, but I can't access. I can log in with Facebook, but it's not the right account. So I just got to figure that out. Michael Barkley, Facebook, he says, what is your favorite and least favorite topwater? My favorite topwater is a frog. My least favorite one to fish is of course, a Clark's Hill staple, which is a big pencil popper. It just wears me out. Another one I don't like to fish very much, believe it or not, is a whopper plopper. It just, those things drive me nuts sometimes, and I don't catch a whole lot of fish on them. The ones I do catch are always good, but I'd rather fish other things than a whopper plopper, a buzz bait, or anything else. So, and I've got a whole box of them, and I don't not fish them. I just don't enjoy it as much. So, Clinton Benson, best budget kayak. Yeah, y'all are gonna have to help him with that, Clinton. I do not have a budget kayak, and I bought a budget kayak years ago. It was a I can't remember what it was. It was a 12-foot kayak, and I sold it after 2 trips because my back hurt so bad after fishing out of it. And so yeah, I am not the one to ask about a budget kayak, but I'm sure there's some guys in here that will help you by by responding in the chat. So Applin's Heart, what's an 8.1 good for? Talking about a high-speed reel. So what I use a high-speed reel for is mainly like baits that I'm flipping and pitching to cover, or pitching or flipping, or mostly my dragging baits. Mainly because, especially when I'm dragging like a worm or a Carolina rig or something like that, I only want to drag it through a certain section or certain distance. I'm getting it through the strike zone. But once I'm out of the strike zone, I want to reel it back in as fast as I can to get another cast. And that over time, over a full day of fishing, you can gain so many more casts, and more casts equals more fish, but you can gain so many more casts by having a high speed reel. And that's really the only reason why I use an 8-3-1. So I remember back in the day when I was first starting to bass fish and fishing tournaments, a high speed reel was a 6-8-1. It wasn't even a 7-speed. And so a lot has changed over the years, but now my average, the one I use the most, is a 7-5-1 or a 7-3-1, depending on the model of 13 reel that I'm using. So yeah, Michael Barkley saying, come on, man, hating on the whopper plopper. It's a shame they catch big fish. That's hilarious, man. Let's see. Have you used any Stanley Top Toads? Yes, I have. I always keep them with me. They're really good for me around lily pads. I just have a lot of confidence with them around lily pads. They don't get hung up nearly as much. So I've never fished Reelfoot Lake in Tennessee. Picked up some black Zoom Unitoads just because I've never used them. Dude, I saw those the other day, and I've never fished them either. I didn't buy them at the Classic, but I saw them. So I have some of the other ones. It's the same material that the Unitoads are made out of, but it's got 2 legs. So while I got you guys on here, we're talking about new kayaks and stuff like that. So on I'm gonna pull up my calendar real quick. Next month, on the 22nd of April, Westbrook Supply is having a demo day on Lake Lanier. If you go to the Westbrook Supply Facebook page, you'll be able to see what the date, what time it is, and where the location is. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to bring a bunch of kayaks for people to demo. A lot of the other guys are going to be there from Westbrook and bringing their kayaks, and you'll be able to demo a bunch of different style and a different entry level all the way up to advanced level kayaks. So if you're in the market for a kayak, dude, it's a perfect time. And like I said, I'm going to try to be there. I'm about 99% sure I'm going to be there. So, and I'll have the new RVR 119s. I'll have my SS 127s, And RS 117, I think I'm going to bring it. So Pat Crawford, budget kayak means hurting back. A lot of times it does. If you're going to, you know, but what I always tell people when they're looking for their first kayak is buy one that floats, buy a good paddle, buy a good PFD, get used to it, figure out what you like and what you don't like, sell it, and buy your next kayak. So, but you know, use it for a year, 6 months to a year. So, what do you look for in a kayak and what do you stay away from? So, I look for stability a lot. You know, it's a lot like many other anglers. Is I want to be able to stand up in my kayak. I want it to be very difficult to flip. So if I'm testing a kayak out, if I'm out on a demo day testing a kayak out, I'm going to have swim gear on. I'm going to be ready to get wet. And I'm going to go out in a kayak and I'm going to paddle it around. I'm going to stand up in it. I'm going to rock back and forth. I'm going to play around with it sitting down. I'm going to see how easy it is to paddle. I'm going to see when I stop paddling and I let go, does it stay straight or does it veer off to the side real hard? A little bit of veer is okay. Just means it tracks well. I'm going to do a bunch of different things just to test it out. But the biggest thing is I want to know how stable it is. And I'm going to grab that right handle or that left handle, and I'm going to go over the opposite way, and I'm going to flip that sucker over. And I'm going to see how hard it is to flip over. And then I'm going to try to get it flipped back over and climb back into it and see whether I like it or not. I'm going to do a bunch of different things, but I'm going to get wet and I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm just going to test everything out. But that's what I do in any demo day when I'm trying anybody's kayak out. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm demoing it. I also want plenty of storage because I keep a lot of crap. I've got camera gear, I've got electronics, I've got batteries, I've got trolling motors, and I've got tackle. So I want to make sure it's got a lot of room for me. So, Nick Brett Dukas says, what's up, man? You ever fished with Dowie? I have. I've old video of mine where I fished a lake that I've never been to before, and I showed people how I break it down was Lake Wadowee. So, yeah, that was a long time ago. That was probably 8-9 years ago. So, Denny Platt, what's your favorite bed fishing soft plastic? I start off with a big lizard, a Zoom Magnum lizard. A lot of people will throw a bright color so you can see it, which I think is great. I actually throw a watermelon color, clear. I can't see it at all, but because of my line angle and how many times I've done this, I about know where the lizard is, and I know how to make that bass react. So, hey, Dean Bowling posted the link to the Facebook page for the demo days. Thanks, Dino. Appreciate it. Let's see. When the Scum Frog came out in the 90s, it was the softest hollow frog I've ever fished, and I fell in love with it. Still fishing to this day, but also fish others. I do. I got a lot of different frogs. The Scum Frog is a really good frog. They've upgraded the hooks since you probably got your first one, which is really good because the first hooks they had were lousy, but that was all they could get for the frog. So, but yeah, a lot of that, the little details have changed, but it's still the same old frog. So, what do I like to use at Rocky Mountain? Oh man. So I typically will throw a chatterbait a lot. I'll be throwing a square bill a lot over the next couple of weeks. And flipping a creature bait. Tomorrow morning, I don't know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to get there early, but not sure what I'm going to do to fish or what I'm going to do to catch fish. Probably a lipless crankbait or a square bill. So, what technique would you like to learn more of? Big swim baits it's something I've been trying to learn for the last 2-3 years. Just have very little confidence in big wake baits or big glide baits and big swim baits. So I'm working on it. I've caught a lot of fish on them, it's not something I really can do all day long. So kayak versus bass raider, which is really a good question. My thoughts on a kayak versus a bass raider. Now, bass raider is really good. as long as you don't have to drag it around. And I have drug a bass raider about a quarter of a mile back to down through a cow pasture, through the woods, through a swamp to get to this lake that we had permission to fish a long time ago. And I don't ever want to do that again. But with a kayak, basically, especially with a bona fide, the bottom being so flat, you can just grab, hook a rope onto one side, hook it onto your shoulder straps, or just throw it over your shoulder and drag it on through the woods and stuff like that. Just a lot more mobile with it. It's also a lot more maneuverable, and and that's about it. That's the only thing I can think of. It's been a long time, but I used to haul a bass raider around in my truck all the time when I was a teenager. So, let's see. Wheezy614. Thanks, man. It was good to meet y'all too. Definitely. Do you still fish Bienville Plantation? I haven't seen any videos from there in a while. So they changed ownership. The previous owner wasn't a very honest person. And if you know me, I don't deal with dishonest people very well at all. And so we kind of cut ties, and he went bankrupt, and not because of me. He just was a bad businessman. And the two guys that bought it are trying to figure out how they can use us, and we're trying to find a kind of a middle ground. It's going to be a business thing where I want to make sure I'm making money for my time over there and promoting them and that kind of stuff. But matter of fact, he texted me yesterday, or he called me yesterday. I wasn't able to talk to him because I was filming. But yeah, dude, something's going to happen. You'll see me at Bienville a couple more times during the year at least. We just got to figure out what's going on there. So, but let's see. A lot of you guys are helping this guy out with kayak suggestions, which is great. I really appreciate it. So, are you fishing KBF Pro again this year? No, because they're not having the Pro, and I'm not fishing any more tournaments. Like I said, the only tournament I'm going to fish is a challenge series to qualify for the championship, and then I'm done. I've got to shoot videos this year. I can't get sidetracked with tournaments. And like I've said for many, many years, that if I ever get serious about tournaments, which I did last year, there's not going to be hardly any videos, which there weren't. And so this year I got to get back to shooting videos and give you people what you want for the most part. But I really enjoy teaching people. I just got away from it for tournaments. So shot a video today, and I hope to shoot 3 or 4 more tomorrow. So I'm gonna make this last a little bit longer because some of your guys' suggestion for this guy looking for a beginner kayak are really, really good. Let's see. Lure recommendations for a deeper lake. I live near Norris Lake in East Tennessee. So a lot of finessey stuff, and I'm not like, for me, in a deep, clear lake like Norris, I'm using light line on a spinning rod. I'm using finesse techniques like shaky heads and Ned rigs and Nico rigs, and a bunch of stuff like that, just because that light line things sink a little bit faster so you can get more casts in. But deep crankbaits, a lot of lead-headed jigs, I'll get an underspin and stuff like that. What I would suggest with Norris Lake is I want you to go watch videos about Lake Lanier and how they fish Lake Lanier, because Lake Lanier, although they're spotted bass, it fishes a lot like Norris. And so the underspin techniques they use on Lake Lanier, the drop shot techniques, that kind of stuff is the same kind of stuff you would use up on Norris Lake. So, does your tournament strategy change with a lot of incoming rain water during the pre-spawn? Yes. It has more to do with the temperature of the water that's coming in. If it's a cold rain and that kind of stuff, then it's going to push them out. It's going to have a major negative effect instead of a minor negative effect. And I'm also going to avoid muddy water for that period of time. So I'm going to go, instead of going back up a creek that has water flowing into it, I'm going to go into pockets that doesn't have water flowing into it. So those pockets will stay clear, and I'm going to look for bass in those pockets. I'm going to look for bass out on the main lake that the water, where the mud water hasn't gotten to yet. And then a few days after a rain, I'm going to go all the way to the back of the creek where the clean water's coming in from the creek. The rest of the lake is filled up with muddy water, and I'm going to concentrate on the back of the creek. So I'm always looking for the clearest water that I can this time of the year. They need sunlight to spawn, so they're going to be looking for it too. Favorite fishing shirt, hood or no hood? Hood. Mainly because of sun exposure. I always, I put this one on just before this live. I always have a fishing shirt on that has a hood on, especially on sunny days. So, and I don't get burned very often. I always wear long sleeves. These are actually new shirts from Realtree Fishing. You go on their website, realtreefishing.com, and all these really, really cool shirts and a lot of hooded sun shirts this year. So that's something totally new from them. I picked up several of them while I was at the Classic. So James Barnett, my wife is making me go fishing tomorrow. This will be my first trip since last spring. I got a new SS-127 last July. Have fun, brother. You have a good wife. That's awesome. William says, Gene, I for one have watched less because I totally miss your great how-to videos. Dude, they're coming. I hate to hear that, but that's awesome, man. I'm glad you support what I'm doing. So, all right, we're gonna get a couple more questions. You guys don't forget to sign up for the Knucklehead Bass Knucklehead tournament over on Fishing Chaos. It's gonna be a whole lot of fun. It really is. So I got to figure out what I'm going to give the winner from this month. Gene, I love lipless and flat-sided cranks in cold water, but when I need to decide which one to use, I just tie one on and switch to the other if I'm not getting bit. Any advice? Before you switch, change the way you're retrieving it. And especially with a lipless, I've got that really, really old lipless crankbait video where I talk about how I will reel it really fast and kill it. And I'm just doing this. And it's just, I know you guys can't see it because of the camera, but it's super fast and stop, and inconsistent distances and stuff like that. I do that with lipless like crazy. And in flat-sided crankbaits, I'm trying to beat it off of heavy or hard cover or hard structure. And so I'm reeling it down, banging it off of stumps and stick ups and rocks and anything else I can get a hold, run it into. So, but, all right. Well, guys, I really appreciate you joining me tonight. I appreciate all the questions. Thanks for those who joined in with Super Chat with your donations. I really appreciate that too. But like I always say, be sure to introduce somebody to fishing, introduce them to my channel. Let me help you teach them how to fish. More importantly, get out on the water, go out and catch some fish, and have a great day. We'll see you.